It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports,
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at U-Like, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. U-Like. With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AMP-Pace.
AMP-Pace.
The Pete Sousa Show. We are here. We are live. We're so happy to have you guys with us as we get set on a Tuesday. It's dark in here, Scotty. Is it not? It is, right?
I thought you wanted the lights off all the time.
No. I think you can lighten the camera or something. No? Okay. No, I'm serious. It's dark. Can you see? If you look at the screen, you'll see. I love doing that. Yeah, Scotty! All right, there we go. Yeah, it was a little dark. Okay.
We could have adjusted this before we went live in the studio.
Dude, I apologize. I was coming back from can you take it down just a little bit? I'm serious. Just a tiny bit. We got Sal Paolantonio this morning. I don't want to be like shining for Sal. I want to be shining in the best way possible. That's right. We do have Sal Paolantonio. As a kid who grew up in Philadelphia. You know what's funny? There are two Mount Rushmores of ESPN NFL Game Day. those two reporters. And I think it's Ed Werder, and I think it's Sal Paolantonio. And we haven't had Ed on because I'm basically scared of Ed. Here you go. Yeah, we're good. We're good. I'm kind of scared of Ed just because of what Mosley has told me. I know I shouldn't be, but yeah, we'll get Ed on soon. But we got Sal today, which I'm like so excited about. We're going to ask him about the Eagles, obviously talk to him about everything percolating in the NFL. And I do want to discuss with him. There's one hot topic I feel like that is not being talked about enough, and it is from an Eagles perspective, right? Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. Kellen Moore is now gone. He's out of the mix. And from what I heard last year, he was kind of like the glue guy. And I'm curious as to whether that relationship developed to a point between Sirianni, right, and Jalen Hurts, that it's all good now and there's no looking back, or is it a situation where we'll find out, right? They have a new offensive coordinator. I think his name's Kevin Paluto. Clearly he did a good job on Thursday because the Cowboys couldn't stop him. The Pete Sousa Show is presented by Slovacics. Also Crawford Austin Properties, Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, First National Bank of Central Texas. Where are we at here? I got to turn this. There you go. There you go. Dan Ingham. All right. There we go. Get that logo out there. This says First National Bank of Central Texas if you can't see it. And don't forget about Secor Family Ford. We were going to buy, Christy and I, buy Caden a car, but that dude is like, he is in outer space right now. But that's a whole nother situation that we'll talk about at some point when we can joke about it. We'll move on from the personal matters, and let's get into a matter that I feel is personal to me because I'm a big Joey Maguire guy. The next 2 weeks are beyond important for Texas Tech, and this is a team right now. I think they're ranked 20th in the AP poll. And the reason that I think this is a huge situation for Tech is they play Oregon State at home this weekend. Now, that game is going to be Fox. I think it's an 11 a.m. kickoff. No, it's not 11 a.m. kickoff. I think it's like a 3:30. But it's a national game. I mean, Texas Tech's a heavy favorite. They're 23.5-point favorite in this game. So it's not like it's going to be a really like tough game for Texas Tech. But at the same time, they have an opportunity on a national stage, and it's like hardcore, like linear TV, right? Like the old folks that are flipping around and only go through like the first 10 channels, like they'll be able to see Texas Tech play at 3:30 on Saturday afternoon. Good luck for Texas Tech. Good luck for the program. I mean, it's basically like turning up on ABC. You're on Fox, right? Tom Brady's on Fox. That's a good spot to be in, right? A really cool window for the Big 12. Now, you would imagine that they'll take care of business, right? Convincingly. And that would be sort of like almost like a pageant in a sense for Texas Tech. Just a chance for them to just show off, right? Now, the following week, we get down to business. One of the best teams in the Big 12 that nobody's talking about, or people finally probably are at this point because they're ranked, is Utah. And big noon kickoff will be in Salt Lake City for that matchup between Texas Tech and Utah, right? So you've got that early kick on. I don't know how they work that, actually. I guess it'll be later because it is in Salt Lake City. So the kick, I would imagine, might be later. But either way, you're back on Fox again, national TV, in a game that not only will give you an opportunity to show the rest of the country possible recruits, possible transfers, you mean business, because you're going to be on the road, right? Where Texas Tech in the past has been vulnerable. They had a huge win last year at Iowa State. And I think that was a bit of a signature win for Joey Maguire, his staff, and the program, because it proved that they could win big games on the road in ruckus environments, okay? This is going to be one of those opportunities. This will be a huge game because the way that I see it, Utah more than likely is that dark horse this year, or not anymore, but they're coming off a terrible year. And now they're ranked, but they weren't really getting a ton of attention before the season. Nobody really knew how Devin Dampier was going to look, how he was going to play. We talk about quarterback play in the Big 12. he has looked as sharp as any quarterback in the conference so far. By the way, go to my videos yesterday about Sawyer Robertson. I think that was some of my best work because I feel strongly about that dude. And Scotty, by the way, you should feel good, just like me, about our Heisman bet. Dude, pull your shot up, dude. This is Scotty's new shot. You ready? Good shot. Dude, you're dark too.
New shot for now. We're going to see how this works.
We're going to fix that camera and make it lighter. You're dark too.
Well, here's the deal, brother. I'll step into our studio for a second, dear audience.
You got two lights over there, and natural.
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights, 7 lights in this studio. Generally, 6 of them are pointed at Pete Sousa. Today, 5 of them are pointed at Pete Sousa. Pete doesn't like the windows to be open. I cracked 2 of them open today anyway, and doesn't want the overhead lights. It's really hard when I'm standing in this corner to avoid looking like I'm in my closet playing sports broadcast.
Hey, let me tell you something. I learned from Mariah Carey long ago, no overhead lighting. Mariah Carey won't walk into a room with overhead lighting. She won't do it. For fear.
All right, and everybody turn on. Please bear with me to see what this corner looks like with overhead lighting, and you'll see it looks great. It looks fantastic. But I'm doing well, Pete. Thanks for asking.
Scotty, what do you think? This is great, dude. You're like Paul Schaefer. I love this.
I don't know who Paul Schaefer is.
Paul Schaefer was David
Millennial hair.
Paul Schaefer was David Letterman's band guy, and Paul was always standing over the band.
Dude, one day I'll have to bring my guitar.
Yes, dude.
We'll perform.
We might have something. But honestly, what do you think about? We didn't talk about this yesterday. Okay. And then we'll hit this quick and then we'll take a break. But Sawyer Robertson and his Heisman Trophy odds. I mean, dude, we got in on that.
Dude, I don't have a Sawyer graphic. Let me take this Texas Tech junk.
Dude, those graphics you did yesterday were amazing.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Listen, in a theoretical world where sports gambling is legal in Texas, placed a little money on Sawyer Robertson's Heisman odds.
I may have too.
Before the season started. And I got to tell you, after week 1, I was not feeling so good. I really needed Baylor to beat Auburn. I know he put up some good numbers, but he did not look particularly sharp that night. Anybody that was there will tell you that. However, sitting where we're sitting today, I feel pretty good. Dude's leading the country in passing, is starting to generate some of that buzz. Now, here's what I'll ask you, Pete. This is what Mosley talked about yesterday on his show. And Ganaway, I think, feels this way as well, who I do please bear with me with. Baylor needs to start the campaign because something they did really well with Robert Griffin once he played about a month and it was evident, oh crap, this dude might be the best player in the country this year. They started pushing it. They were putting him on national TV. They were putting him up for interviews. They were sending out, cards and notes to all of the voters. Baylor needs to back Sawyer Robertson in the same way. Now, it's a different AD, different football staff. Dave Aranda, generally a little less flexible with his players on media appearances than Art Briles was. I'm wondering if we get another 2 weeks into this thing, if Sawyer puts up like 400 yards again against Arizona State in 2 weeks, Baylor needs to mount the cavalry and go full speed ahead and attack this thing because we all know what that first Heisman Trophy did for this football program, for this university. There's a statue by the river for it, right? There's a stadium by the river for it. Thank you, Robert Griffin III. What could another Heisman Trophy do for Coach Aranda, for the program, for recruiting, for the school? Oh, I shudder to think.
And by the way,
I shudder to dream.
I think we can all agree. If there's a dude who you feel good about getting behind and putting everything you have, right? Like
yes, and putting it in front of the camera with the media.
Yes. That's your guy. And like true, like all the way through to the core, that's a guy you can be proud of.
10,000%.
And you never have to worry about. I said yesterday, I don't worry about Sawyer.
And listen, we had this conversation a couple months ago when there was some crap going on in the media. Robert Griffin is really good in front of a camera, but on occasion something comes out of his mouth that you're like, put that right back. All right. Not so with Sawyer. Not so.
All right, we're proud of Sawyer Robertson. We're also proud of the fact we got Sal Paolantonio coming up. We don't want him to wait around. We're going to take a break right now. We plan on being back with Sal Pal. I can't imagine we wouldn't be. The guy, he's a Navy guy. All right, he's going to be on time, unlike myself. The Pete Sousa Show presented by Slovacics. We'll be back after that.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. That's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down to afterwards, was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning. So we love Extraco.
I don't know, if Bubble wasn't here, I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
We are back with ESPN Sal Paolantonio. Sal Pal, of course, we know him reporting forever on the NFL. And, of course, at the NFL matchup show, which we were just talking, Sal, we love your team. Darius Butler, Greg Cosell, and you, ESPN, ESPN2. You can catch it Saturday and Sunday mornings. And also, you can catch it forever on ESPN+. How did that team come together? That's a great squad.
Yeah, it is. Thanks a lot, Pete. Thanks for mentioning the show. Darius Butler is just a terrific former defensive back. He's also on the Pat McAfee show. And we like to have somebody from defense to balance out Greg Cosell, who is a terrific guy on quarterbacks. He's our quarterback guru, our quarterback whisperer. You know, we had Matt Bowen before Darius Butler. Matt Bowen was a great safety. Before that, Louis Riddick, who also played in a secondary. And before that, before Cosell was on the show, we had Jaws and Merrill Hodge. So We like the balance of defense with Greg Cosell, and it gives us an all 22 look to our breakdowns of matchups. You know, what we like to say on the show is that the NFL game is a game of matchups, and you have to pay attention to that week in and week out if you really wanted to figure out who's going to have the edge, who's going to win the ball game.
All right. So when I was growing up in Philly, my dad used to read you all the time. I mean, especially politically early on, I can remember. And then obviously on the Eagles beat. Who was your favorite politician to cover in Philly? Were you ever on like the Frank Rizzo beat?
I covered Frank Rizzo's last two campaigns for mayor in 1987 and 1991, and I wrote his biography, The Last Big Man in Big City America, which came out in 1993. Actually, Pete, believe it or not, in the year 2025, just got another royalty check for that book. It has some great legs to it because of the Rizzo name and how powerful Frank Rizzo was. I spent a lot of time with him before he died, working on the book, and then when he died on July 20th, 1991, I put aside my coverage of the campaign in 91. I did continue to cover it, but not as exclusively, and tried to finish the book, which goes all the way back to the 1860s, to Frank Rizzo's grandfather's involvement in Garibaldi's army for the unification of Italy, and travels all the way through the 20th century experience of Italian immigration in the Philadelphia area, as well as breaking down the history of politics in Philadelphia and the fight between Democrats and Republicans for control of the city, and what Rizzo's role was involved, first as police commissioner, then as mayor. And he ran, of course, as you know, Pete, 5 times for mayor of Philadelphia, and he was a national figure. There's one chapter in the book on just his relationship with Richard Nixon.
Dude, unbelievable stuff. And leads me to my next question as we get into the Eagles. More colorful guy to cover, Frank Rizzo or Buddy Ryan? I know you're probably on the tail end of, but I mean, dude, those are two of my favorite Philly personalities of all time.
Well, Rizzo, it's hard to top Rizzo, but I loved Buddy Ryan because he was just such a great student of the great game, but also an ex-Marine during the Korean War. So he had such a great balanced view of life and football that I was able to learn so much from him. Remember, at the time that I started covering the Eagles, I was in my mid-30s. Now I'm 69 years old, so long time. And I had just stopped covering politics, and I was put on the Eagles beat by the editors of the paper because they were looking for somebody to do the Eagles, and they asked me to jump over to sports. And I'd never covered sports before, actually, since college. So I really relied on Buddy in the beginning to teach me the game and the ins and outs of NFL politics. And man, what an education that was, I got to tell you. And by the way, I don't know, Pete, if you agree with me or not, I think Buddy Ryan should be in the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. So Buddy Ryan was the defensive coordinator of the 85 Bears that absolutely demolished all of the competition on their record run to a Super Bowl title. He's the godfather of the 46 defense. He was also the defensive coordinator of the greatest upset in Super Bowl history. He was the defensive coordinator of the Jets.
Jets, yeah.
Under Weeb Ewbank when Joe Namath beat the Colts. So he is the author of 2 of the greatest Super Bowl defenses of all time. I think, in my humble opinion, and I'm a voter in Canton for enshrinement, I think Buddy Ryan should be in the Hall.
Is there, for the 46 defense, and you mentioned like being the architect or something like that, is there another way he could get in as like a contributor too, if they saw fit or you guys saw fit?
Yep, contributor. I think there should be an assistant coach put in, like every 2 to 3 or 5 years. You know, we should recognize Monty Kiffin, Bud Carson, definitely Buddy Ryan, Tom Moore. There's a bunch of Dante Scarnecchia, the offensive line coach of the New England Patriots. there's a lot of guys that
we were talking yesterday to Randy Cross, and Bob McKittrick was a guy who he brought up right away.
A great idea. Great.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Howard Mudd.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm on it. I'm on it. All right. Let's get to the Phils now. Present day. Right behind you, you got your book, Philly Special, right? That's about a very special team, a very special occasion, and just an amazing moment in history, that 2017 team. If you were to write one more chapter, like, a postscript about that season and about that team as we move into present day, what would it have been?
Keep Nick Foles. One of the worst decisions that the franchise has ever made was getting rid of Foles and keeping Wentz. If they had kept Foles and Peterson together, they would have won another Super Bowl.
Now, someone like you who was around the locker room and you knew the inner workings, right, ins and outs, and you can't report all of it because that's, who you are as a journalist with integrity. You had a ton of info on that situation. At the time, in your heart of hearts, did you know, wow, this is the wrong move to make?
I did, and I said it publicly, Pete. It doesn't really matter what was going on in the locker room sometimes, but in this case, it does. So not only was Foles the right choice from a football standpoint, but it was the right choice from a leadership standpoint. People make fun of me all the time, Pete. I think Nick Foles has got to be in the Mount Rushmore of Philadelphia Eagles players. He was the Super Bowl MVP for the first Super Bowl title of the team. I mean, come on. I mean, it's Reggie White, Nick Foles, and Van Buren, and then fill in the blank. I mean, I think Jalen Hurts could be right there. I think this Eagles team that won last year was one of the top three. SI is coming out with a list of the top Super Bowl teams. I voted it as the top Super Bowl team of all time. I did. I think it's right there with the Niners of 89, the Bears of 85, certainly, and probably the second Steelers team that won the Super Bowl in the 70s. I forget the exact year. And, of course, the Packers team that won that second Super Bowl in the 60s.
Those first two teams you mentioned, and they put total punctuation marks on their seasons, just absolutely demolishing the competition, right? The Patriots got killed by the Bears. The 49ers and the 89 team crushed the Broncos at the Superdome. Yep. And then the Eagles demolished, right, Kansas City last year. To this Eagles team. Big change in the offseason, obviously. I feel like, and maybe this is because I'm in Texas now, and I still read it all, but maybe I don't hear as much as I used to. The Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts relationship with the removal of Kellen Moore, was that fence mended to a point where they're good to go from here? Or is there a chance maybe that there is maybe some discord this year without Kellen Moore around?
No, I think it's totally mended, and it was mended last season. They're really in a good place, the two of them. I really believe that. Hey, you win a Super Bowl together. That mends all fences. It heals all wounds. But here's the thing. Sirianni was the MVP last year, Pete. The way he kept that team together after that bad start, the way he listened to his players and adapted his frame of mind and approach, adapted his football approach and his coaching approach. He listened to the offensive line when they came in. They knocked on his door, came in after the Week 4 loss in Tampa, which was a disaster, and said, our team should run through number 26. And let's just put it on our backs. And then the analytics department has figured out something really interesting that a lot of people don't talk about, Pete. But we'll talk about it on your show. I have talked about it a little bit. The Eagles have the heaviest offensive line in the NFL. Biggest, heaviest. Why? Well, in the last 25 years, NFL defenses have been slowly shrinking in size because they want faster, lighter players to defend the passing game. That has been the evolution of defenses in the 21st century, to the point where in 2024, There were 220 starters in the NFL in the front seven that were 240 pounds or less. That's the lightest ever in NFL history. Lightest ever. So the Eagles have figured out, listen, we get a big offensive line. We pound these light defenses. We're going to be able to move the ball at will. And when you watch a lot of these other week one games compared to what the Eagles are, you see that the Eagles are always in control of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Even when they're not in control of the game. And when you control the line of scrimmage in the NFL like that, you are able to do what you want to do, whether it's hand it to Barkley, whether it's swing passes to Goddard, finding Devontae Smith occasionally downfield, getting those in-cut routes to A.J. Brown, although that did not happen week one. Or, more important, Jalen Hurts finding a way to run on third down or throw on third down. You know, Pete, he was 6 for 6 on third down.
Yeah, that's amazing.
He was 6 for 6. I mean, that's pretty good. And the Packers did a really good job of playing matchup man to man. They matched up. And, you know, people want to make a lot of A.J. Brown having no targets until the fourth quarter, first time in his career. But A.J. Brown, you go back and watch the film, Pete, A.J. Brown was a willing and competitive blocker on many of the plays that Jalen Hurts got first downs with his legs. He's a smart player, tough player, good blocker, didn't put up the big numbers. And you know what? I was looking at some numbers this morning to get ready for your show. So Puka Nacua of the Rams, he had 130 receiving yards. The Rams saw way more than anybody on the Eagles in that game. The Rams only scored 14 points against the Texans at home. So another one. Joe Flacco had 290 passing yards, lost the game. So numbers don't tell the whole story in the National Football League. Travis Etienne of the Jaguars, they won the game. He had 143 rushing yards. You got to look at, in this league right now, the way things are set up, rushing attempts are the number one determining factor in who wins or loses. We're in the middle of a running back revolution in the National Football League. 5 teams had more than 500 rushing attempts last year. 5. All 5 made the playoffs. Eagles, number 1, won the Super Bowl. The next 4 had 450 to 500 yards rushing attempts. All 4 of them made the playoffs. That's the first time that's ever happened in the NFL, ever.
Now, are some of these, like, you have these coaches with these great egos, and ego sometimes gets a bad rap. It's what you need sometimes to be successful on that level. Have they had to swallow some pride? Because we're talking about innovators here, right? Like, is that something that's happening now around the league? Like you mentioned the Sirianni thing. Guys knock on his door, hey, we got to run the football. We got to run it down their throat with Saquon.
Well, I've always been a big believer, Pete, that your personnel should determine your approach, your philosophy, and your scheme. It is a players' league. Now, design matters, of course, no question. So let's just look at design specifically, since we're focused on Philadelphia. Now, the design of Kevin Patullo's offense, first time out, calling plays in his NFL career in week 1. So he's feeling his way out. But I would have liked to have seen some pitches, reverses, 9 routes out of A.J. Brown. Creative and different ways to get him the football. Not for nothing, he's also very good one-on-one coming down with the ball. Just throw it to him and trust him. But I think what's been pounded into Jalen's head, and rightly so, listen, we will control the line of scrimmage. You control the football. Remember that, Pete.
Yeah.
Remember that. We will control the line of scrimmage. You control the football. Don't turn it over. It's more important that you don't turn it over and you don't take sacks than you have completions, because we can run up the number of rushing attempts. And you look at Monday night last night, right? Now, Ben Johnson you was talking about so-called innovators, Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson had a 2-back set in Detroit. He should have just taken that offense, superimposed it on Caleb Williams in Chicago, and said, this is our identity. We will get 2 backs. We've reformulated our offensive line under new GM Ryan Pace, and we will just control the line of scrimmage, and we will ask Caleb Williams to make a few plays with his arms and with his legs. Caleb Williams is pretty fast. He showed that last night. But in the end, they didn't control the game. It got away from them.
I love that response. And it brings me back a couple more questions for you, because I know you're a busy guy and I so appreciate this. Jalen Hurts, you've covered him obviously since he came into the league. What has been the biggest change for him as a player, as a dude, whatever it is, that has allowed him to, I mean, we know how committed he is, right? That's like, I know that from 30,000 feet, but like someone like you knows why exactly he has evolved into this, I mean, perfect steward for the Eagles offense. It's pretty amazing. And as a fan, I got my Eagles helmet right here, even though I'm a Cowboys country. I knock on wood a little bit, because it's pretty damn good right now.
Yeah, and Pete, I'm not an Eagles fan. I grew up in New York. I don't really root for any teams. I can't do that. I don't want to do that. My job is to tell the story of the game and these players. But I interviewed Jalen Hurts his rookie season. And I interviewed Mike Vick, Carson Wentz, Nick Foles, Donovan McNabb, Randall Cunningham, all the Eagles starting quarterbacks for the last 30 years. And at a young age of 23, I found that Jalen Hurts was so focused and so determined and such a gentleman. I was super impressed. I said to myself, this guy is the son of a coach, from Texas. He really understands what he wants to do. Like he always says, I had a purpose before you had an opinion. Now, he said that when he was 23. That's pretty good. I wasn't saying 23. Now, I was a Navy officer at age 23, but still, he obviously learned a lot from his dad. So very early on, he had a singular focus and an idea of who he wanted to be. And you used the word evolve, and he has evolved as he's become more confident in his game and more confident as a leader, and gotten coaching from Shane Steichen, from Nick Sirianni, and from the players around him. But he was asked a very interesting question this summer. Do you have more confidence now that you've won a Super Bowl? And his answer was, well, yeah, of course. When you win a Super Bowl, you feel like you can basically do anything. And so I've watched his, I won't say maturation, because he was mature from the beginning. I think I'm going to go back to your word. And all people evolve. They all have evolutions through different parts of their life, but his has been steady on a steady rise. And then the other thing is, Pete, watch him at the line of scrimmage. Tom Brady said at the beginning of the season, quarterbacks are not as cerebral anymore. They're all not. Jalen Hurts is cerebral. He gets to the line of scrimmage. He knows what the defense is doing. He's got the answers to the tests pre-snap. He can get the Eagles out of bad plays. It really started last year when they went into M&T Bank Stadium and waxed. Remember that game? They waxed the Ravens.
Yeah.
Watch that game closely. That's Jalen Hurts getting out of bad plays and getting into good ones and calling his own number off of other things. When you have 26-1 and you have to occupy your mind and personnel to both of those guys being able to run with the football, that's diabolical. It really is. And then you put up there Mailata, who's a oak tree on ice skates, and Lane Johnson, who's going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame over here on this side, And in the middle, oh, by the way, you have Mr. Nasty Man, Landon Dickerson, and Cam Jurgens, who would rather eat your lunch than talk to you. So you got, I think, the 4 of the 5 best offensive linemen together in the NFL, all coached by the best offensive line coach, and Jeff Stoutland, who's also the run coordinator. You know, health is important. They were the second healthiest team in the league last season. They were lucky with injuries. They're set up to go back. They are set up to go back. If Jerry Jones had not traded Micah Parsons to Green Bay, they'd probably skate to the NFC Championship game.
So that's the consensus, right? Green Bay is the team in their way. I got one more question for you before let you out of here. What is the biggest story?
By the way, Pete, your questions are great.
Thanks.
You're a great interviewer. You're great.
Thank you very much.
And I don't throw that around a lot. I mean, this is the first time you and I have met one another.
Yeah.
First time I've been on the air with you. I could talk like this with you for 2 hours. You're you listen, you answer, you ask good follow-up questions. You're good.
Coming from you, that means more than you know. Last one. Let's see if I can avoid screwing it up. What is the number one story in the NFL right now that people are not talking about?
It's a one-score league, Pete. Go back to last year. The largest number of games in NFL history in a single season was decided by 8 points or less. Now, look at what happened in week 1, just in the last 2 games, Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football. I mean, even though the Eagles game, the Eagles were favored by what, 8 at one point, 8.5, almost 9. I think it got up to 9. I mean, listen, I don't gamble. I'm not allowed because of our policy, and I don't want to. I gamble on my children and my grandchildren, which is a lot more fun for me. All my money goes to them. But, you know, I do give gambling advice once in a while. Don't give out big numbers in the NFL. Just don't. It's a one-score league. The Eagles were favored by 9. I said to guys before the game at the link, I said, just be careful. Anything can happen, especially in this league. Late game turnovers, injuries, guys spitting on another guy before the ball is snapped. I mean, I've covered over 1,000 games as a professional sports person. First time I ever saw that, Pete. Wow.
I wish I'd talked to you last week. I lost a bet to Matt Mosley. I gave him the Cowboys and the points, you know, but bad move by me.
You lost a bet to Matt Mosley. Of all people, Maron, what happened to you?
Tell me about it, Sal. Man, thank you so much, Sal Powell. We so appreciate it. Folks, make sure you watch NFL Matchup. That's the show you got to see. Greg Cosell, Darius Butler, of course, our man Sal Powell, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN Plus. It'll live there forever if you want to check it out. Sal, thanks so much, man.
Hey, Pete, let's do this again. Let's say like in 4 weeks, reach out to me and we'll see where we are, all right?
I've loved that, Sal. It's an honor. Thanks so much.
Pleasure to talk to you.
The great Sal Paolantonio. Wow. That was a pretty awesome conversation. Probably put it up there. The top 3 of my life. Might be a little premature, but, you know, that was really awesome. I got to interview Adam Silver once when I was in Charlotte. That was pretty cool, but not that cool. All right, the Pete Sousa Show continues after this. Scotty and I will break it down, and we'll see if Scotty's camera is a little lighter, because Scotty is always light. Call it the sunlight of the spirit splashing through this guy. All right, thanks to Sal Paolantonio. Remember, honestly, watch that matchup show. It's pretty cool that he continues to carry that legacy, because obviously Jaws and Merrill Hodge, you know, I haven't drank in 14 years, and those guys were like in lockstep with all my hangovers when I went out like years ago. It was Merrill Hodge, and it was Jaws, and it was a splitting headache and Jaws breaking it all down for me, which was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun early on Saturday or Sunday. All right, we'll be back after this. Presented by Slovaceks, the Pete Sousa Show continues.
Did you know nearly all stock price changes of 10% or more result from a single news headline? These news catalysts create trading opportunities every day. All you need is a little help to reach out and take them. It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
BosleyMD.com.
I've always had thin hair my whole life. It breaks off at a certain length. In the last 6 months, I've noticed it just really bad. I mean, you could totally see it. I wear a hat a lot. I tried several different products. My experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
BosleyMD.com.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Join us at golfpartnerusa.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's GOLFPARTNERUSA.com. Golf Partner.
Since 2003, Bluehost has been empowering people to harness their brands online with innovative web hosting solutions. Trusted by over 2 million users, we're the longest-running WordPress.org recommended host. With Bluehost, you get a safer, better web experience, supported by the world's most popular site builder, and backed by our commitment to open source projects. Visit Bluehost.com today and take your website to the next level.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress. It's like a wearable hug for your nervous system that helps you calm down and feel better. The Apollo wearable will send gentle vibrations to your body, like a song you can feel instead of hear. You feel better, you sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Elevate your experience with Grenco Science, the leaders in cutting-edge vaporizers. Whether you're at home or on the go, our sleek, powerful devices deliver smooth, consistent hits every time. Quality you can trust, innovation you can feel. Grenco Science. Take your vapor game to the next level. Visit us at GrencoScience.com.
It all began with a simple idea, cutting handles off old ski sticks to create better pull-up bars. This sparked the creation of the revolutionary Angles 90 handles. After testing over 70 prototypes with 300 athletes, our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Angles90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Is the old Pete Sousa show. Pretty awesome to have Sal Paolantonio here. And I will say there were a couple like big time nuggets he dropped. I thought, you know, the insight into the Eagles is always kind of really cool when you get a guy like that who is actually, it's funny, we were supposed to interview him on last Thursday. And, you know, that was the day of the Eagles game. And so I was like, he's really going to do this with me? the day of the opener on NBC and against the Cowboys. The first time these guys have opened against each other since like 1970. And so he couldn't do it. But man, we lucked out, right? It's like that was far better of an experience. I mean, he was obviously had some time and was really locked in because that's the kind of guy he is. I wanted to ask him that question too about, I knew, you know, Buddy Ryan being, you know, a military vet and Sal with his Navy acumen. I figured that was their connection, and I'm sure it was. But yeah, Sal, amazing dude. You know what else is amazing? Underdog. That's right. What I want you to do is go to Underdog Sports. Underdog Sports. That's it. I mean, I don't even know what it's called. It's just so easy. I got the app right on my phone. Literally, if you want to have some fun, right? I mean, playing Underdog is really easy. You just pick whatever your favors are, right? Go higher or lower on stats, stuff like touchdowns, receiving yards, rushing yards, interceptions, or more, all that stuff. And you can get your picks. And if you get them right, well, you could win up to 5,000? 50,000 times your cash. I can promise that hasn't happened to me yet. But you can play with as little as $1. And I can tell you, it's the one thing I can tell you from my experience is like, it's super easy. It's not overwhelming. So I want you to download the app today and sign up with the promo code Sousa to score $50. Scotty B, that's you. All right. You're winning all this money, all these bets. Why don't you, throw a little to the old Sousa show, right? Look at this. So far on my ESPN picks, come on, man. Underdog. Pretty good, though. 16-4. That's why he's the Baylor king. You're up there, buddy.
You want
good? You're lighter, dude.
I'm already light enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Schaefer.
Here's the winning picks for this week, Pete. I've already made mine. I want to hear yours later in the week.
Okay.
CeeDee Lamb, higher than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. That dude's going to bounce back. He's pissed. They're going to throw him the football early, make sure he scores. And then I need over half a rushing touchdown for Josh Allen and for Jalen Hurts. That's it. Those are my 3 picks. And here's what I did on Underdog. You do the flex pick. So the way that works is if I get 2 of those 3 right, I don't lose my money. If I get all 3 right, then I make money. So yeah, Underdog's easy. A lot of fun. So I just need touchdowns from CeeDee Lamb, and then not a passing touchdown, but a rushing touchdown from Allen and Hurts. I think that's a winning play.
Can I ask you something about CeeDee Lamb? Yeah. So do you ever think, right? Like a guy like CeeDee Lamb, like
love CeeDee Lamb.
Now I do too.
Except when he played against Baylor.
Hold on. I do too. But what about like the drops? And here's all I want to say, right? Like I saw Jerry Rice. I mean, legitimately, I saw Jerry Rice. He dropped a touchdown wide open, dropped it. It was like very early in his career. But like you never saw Jerry Rice make 3 drops in a game, like ever, right? Like, and so my question is like, we know CD has the tools.
Yes.
Right. Like, does he just need more time on the jugs machine? Like, does he, you know what I mean? Like is that the difference between a CeeDee Lamb and a Jerry Rice? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, is CD maybe not like doing the lonely work or whatever it takes to become?
I don't know CeeDee Lamb personally, and I've never been to a Cowboys camp. We should ask Matt Mosley this. Yeah. I don't perceive CeeDee Lamb as a fan, as someone who doesn't do the work. It's not how I perceive him. I actually perceive him as someone who probably does a lot of work, probably more than a lot of his teammates.
Okay.
I believe that's kind of who he's known to be. I believed him in the post game when he said, "I'm pissed. This is never going to happen again. Watch." Like, I just believe. I'm going to choose to believe him. But it is true, Pete. CeeDee Lamb has made his living, and this was true in college as well, for what he does once the ball's in his hands, not necessarily for being a guy like a Des Bryant, for instance, who you throw the ball up and they have like these giant hands that are going to bring down every catch, right? Yeah. That's never been who CeeDee Lamb is. Now, his drops were easy, routine, other than the last one where he kind of laid out there. The other 2 drops were in the basket, right? And,
my gosh.
I think I wonder if he was in his head a little bit. I wonder if it was just a bad night between the ears, which we all have in our jobs.
We do.
So, man, I am not concerned about this until it happens in a big game again.
You know, it's funny too. I'm like very quick to be forgiving to what you just said. Like, we all have those nights, right? In between our ears. Like, but my whole thing is like, if you're one of the top 3 highest paid, like,
yeah.
And that's my disconnect. And I'm not saying I'm right, but like humanity doesn't apply to you now all of a sudden. It's not quite fair.
But that's why, and you and I appreciate this, Pete, because of what we've been through in our lives. Yeah. I appreciate a guy then who immediately post game takes accountability.
Totally.
Which he did. I mean, and again, doesn't make it okay. Cowboys should have won that game.
Yeah.
If you're going to place blame on one player, which you never do, but if you were, it is CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
And he owned it. He wore it. And he committed to fixing it.
Two guys that night. Jalen Carter, same thing. Like,
yeah.
As stupid as what he did was, he sat there and answered every single question and just listened to what the media had to say, responded to it. It seemed thoughtfully to the point where the Eagles finally had to end the convo. Like their PR guy stepped in, my buddy Bob Lang from grade school.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to talk about the Phillies for now. So you can, get back to your organ over there, Paul. Dude, by the way, you can just say it. Are you happy with the shot? I love it.
Well, see, what's complicated is when I'm looking at the camera, I don't actually see the shot.
Oh, you don't?
So I actually have no idea what I look like while I'm talking to you. I only see when I turn and face the computer and have to.
You'll go back and watch it, but it looks good. We might need to get you another light over there. Other than that, we're good.
Heard that.
Think so.
Heard that.
All right. We'll just get it from out of the other room. They take stuff from out of here all the time.
And
Ann Harder's like, she tapes her show, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we can figure that out. All right. I want to talk a little bit about this. I have not had a chance to just like tap into what happened over the weekend. I think it was in Miami. And then this is the cool thing. I do, the Phillies were playing the Marlins, right? And the home run is hit. And I honestly forget the dude's name, but home run is crushed, right? You see the Phillies fan, the guy who was there with his son, it was his son's birthday, and he scrambles to get the ball, right? And this woman, right, this Karen, who they're saying she is now, she scrambles over. You've all seen it a million times by now. I don't need to break it down for you. I do think like there is an overreach in our society. Like you watch that Point Blank, right? And it is neat to see an America that 5 years ago may have taken that situation much differently. It's nice that we're in a place where everybody can be like, that was so stupid, like by her. And like, I think a lot of people unfortunately use her as a representative for all this other stuff that they don't like, right? Okay, that's fine if you're going to feel that inside and talk to your boys about it. But man, I think we've gone a little too far. And trust me, when I saw that, I was like, that woman sucks. And then I was happy to see the kid got the ball. And I was happy to see that he met the Phillies player after the game. But then, I mean, everybody is crushing this woman. And it's like, nobody is pulling up. Like Sports Center, like the NFL on ESPN, Fox, everybody, like people are just, and of course, social media is just a cesspool. So everybody is all over this woman. And I do kind of feel bad for her. Like, okay, so she had glasses on and she had a short haircut, right? She's not, who knows? You know what I mean? Like, we don't really know. No, but I don't know what that woman, maybe she, like CeeDee Lamb on Thursday, was having a horse shit night, and she just lost it. So I do think it is necessary to just touch on that for a second and say, hey, like maybe we're taking this whole thing just a little too far. That's one thing I wanted to get off my chest. Another thing before we take a break here, and then we'll bring it back and wrap up as we head down the stretch. I wanted to revisit NFL MVP odds, but we'll do that in a minute. I did want to say that when I learned yesterday afternoon that I feel like we are getting things right in society, by the way. So just, I'm a huge fan, just so you know, of everything. I just think I don't like seeing bullying, and I feel like we're getting there with this woman. The Bills fan that was slapping everybody on the head is banned. I mean, that is so awesome. And I haven't seen anything about Lamar getting suspended or fined yet. I think we probably will because that's just, there's a precedent set there, right? And I think Lamar would probably be happy to pay the fine or whatever. I mean, would be happy, but I'm sure he would understand as to why. But like that was another one where common sense, dude. Like we talked to Randy Cross yesterday. Randy is a pretty he's a rule follower, right? Like, but you start to put your hands and get physical with us in our arena, right on the field. Like that thing is reaching over and slapping Lamar on the head. Like, yo, like all bets are kind of off at that point. And I'm not saying that it's right to get physical with anyone at any time. My favorite quote is like when people are like, "Don't put your hands on me." People are like, "Don't put your hands on me." You hear that a lot in New Jersey. You don't want to put your hands on somebody you don't know who you just met. You're having like a conversation with. But Lamar's response, while it may have been a little much, like I think everybody is like, I get it. Like I get it. And it's unfortunate that it happened, but I was really happy to see the dude getting banned. And I was also really happy. I also believe Lamar. We call him Lamar. That's a great example. Like he's very likable. And I think in the court of public opinion, he has earned a ton of grace, right? And I think people just like the dude and they kind of trust him. And they're like, all right, well, if Lamar did it, he probably had a good reason. And we look at the tape and we see, yeah, he certainly did. I always go back to, I remember Spike Lee was on Bill Simmons. This is like 5 years ago. And they were talking about this. And I saw this working in pro basketball, dude. Like, I really am surprised that the players don't go in the stands more often to try to screw people up. And that's what Spike Lee said on Simmons. They were talking about it because Spike is always courtside at Knick games. And like if you are around it and you're down there for like a season, you hear some abhorrent stuff. And it's like, man, you got to realize like these guys hear that stuff every single night. And I'm not saying it's not awesome to be a wealthy athlete playing sports for a living. Like nobody is saying like, okay, but you say, oh, look, well, it comes with the territory. Well, so do human emotions. You know what I mean? Like that comes with the package of being a person. So you can't be expected at all times to be this choir boy. You just can't be. And I think sometimes the expectations are unrealistic. And that guy getting banned is like wonderful job by, maybe it was the Bills Mafia that took him out, right? Because that guy, I mean, and it's funny too, on a night and a game where it's like, that was the only black mark on the Bills, obviously. We'll talk about one more thing before we go to break. And I'll pull this up, but I want to talk about another amazing comeback. Football's been awesome. And we saw the Bills come back right against Lamar on Sunday. And then what about the Vikings last night? Okay. JJ McCarthy. Now let's talk a little bit about JJ. So he rallies the Vikings all the way back. His debut was a freaking roller coaster, right? The 27-24 is the final. Now let's see. Let me get his box score up here. Just wait 1 second, folks. All right. Let's see. By the way, my man Howard Stern's back. I'm not necessarily happy about all that. That's where I picked up the Lottie D. He used to do that when he called people. Okay, box score. So, all right, Chicago obviously loses at home to the Vikings last night. Minnesota wins 27-24. JJ McCarthy, numbers on the night. Uh-oh, looks like Sal Pal might be right again, by the way. 13 of 20, 143 total passing yards, okay? 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked 3 times. Now, that's a second-year quarterback, right? Now, last year he was injured, so he couldn't play. Did he get the gift, right, that a guy like Caleb Williams did not get? Did he get this special gift to sit and watch and have the opportunity to kind of take things in? By the way, good organization, good team. Like, is that a lost art, right? Like holding the clipboard for a year, Brett Favre, Steve Young, whatever it is, Aaron Rodgers, having like a superstar in front of you. Is that with Brett? It wasn't a superstar. He was just a complete screw up in Atlanta that first year. And he would tell you that. Apparently he was saying a lot of things on that Sage Steele conversation, which I may listen to, but that's a story for another day. But you look at the way that Minnesota won the game, right? 28 rushing attempts. Jordan Mason toted the rock more than anybody else, 15 times. But the commitment to the running game, and they didn't ask J.J. McCarthy, even in a furious comeback effort, to do too much. Only 20 passing attempts. And that goes back to what Sal Powell was talking to us earlier about. the NFL and the recipe for winning, which, by the way, if you're just joining us now, we're going to put that Sal Paolantonio interview up. We'll share it with everyone, and I think it's something you will really enjoy. All right, we're going to step aside. Good for J.J. McCarthy. Nice to see him get a win. That had to suck last year, missing the whole season. Caleb Williams on the other side. Sometimes I do worry a little bit about all the noise and how it affects some of these young guys. Like, I think, like, everybody climbing all over Caleb Williams, whatever. I mean, it's part of the business, but I would hate to think that any of that stuff would get in his in between his ears and, affect the way he's going to move forward. You would hope not. All right, Pete Sousa Show. We'll step aside. We're coming back. Of course, thank you to Slovacic, Sikora Family Ford, Crawford Austin Properties, Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, First National Bank of Central Texas. Dan Ingham will be here with us tomorrow. We got to figure out what did he pick, by the way? Do you remember, Scotty? All right, we'll figure it out. Did he win? Oh, I know who he picked, and he lost. He took yeah, he lost, right? Kansas did not cover. No. But I would have picked that too. All right, Dan, you're 0 for 1. If we're going to the bank, we'd like to take some money with us. Pete Sousa Show. We'll be back after that.
Dive into adventure with Scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. With over 20 years of experience, our expert staff, who've dived everywhere from the Galapagos to the Maldives, provides personalized advice to help you find the perfect gear for any underwater journey. Shop leading brands like GoPro, Aqualung, and Scuba Pro. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust Scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at Scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but at a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitch seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels, our rebounders improve accuracy, control, and technique in both sports. Built with premium materials for durability and ease of use, they're ideal for training anywhere, anytime. Whether you're perfecting your soccer game or sharpening your lacrosse skills, Open Goal USA has you covered. Visit OpenGoalUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
Introducing Muck-Off's classic pink bike cleaner, powered by revolutionary nanotechnology that breaks down dirt and grime on a microscopic level while protecting your bike's delicate finish. Developed by our mad developer Alex and tested by riders, our products are made by riders for riders. Discover more at us.muc-off.com, where we break the mold to bring you the best in bike care.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com.
Okay, the Pete Sousa Show is back, and I know it's the fall, and we're under an avalanche of college and pro football, and that is awesome, right? We find time now with 90 minutes to talk about just about everything. I still feel like 90 minutes isn't enough, and we'll probably go further at some point, but 90 minutes is good right now for me and the Scottster, for a good old Scotty Swingler over here. But I haven't had a chance to weigh in on my Caitlin Clark. I'm kind of bummed about what happened with the WNBA this year, and I'm kind of bummed with what happened with Caitlin Clark. We just talked to Sal Paolantonio, and he talked about the Eagles and winning a championship for them last year. They were the healthiest team in the NFL. The Indiana Fever, the exact opposite this year. I don't think any of this was nefarious. That's something I think I want to get out there. Ultimately, there was a point in time where like hot takey Pete inside me was kind of like, wait a minute, are they not telling us the truth about her injury? We don't like, it's odd, right? I felt that obviously it was worse than we thought it was initially because she just didn't come back. And, the injury they were talking about her sustaining usually doesn't take that long to come back from. Now, we get word that she shut down for the rest of the season. Again, I don't think she was kept, the possibility of her coming back was held from the public. I just don't believe, I don't want to believe that. I'm not that guy. But I will say, dude, after she got injured, right, the WNBA's national viewership went down 55%, right? This is according to the New York Post. So the New York Post, you can say what you want, but when they put numbers in there, they're accurate. Their TV games early in the year, right? They were averaging millions of viewers. After she gets hurt, they were down to 300 and I think there's 340,000 viewers on an NBA TV game, and then 550,000. That's a 40% drop, right? That's according to Front Office Sports. And then the WNBA All-Star game, it was a dip because she didn't participate, even though it was in Indiana. And I think most importantly, something you can't quantify is buzz. And the WNBA really had a ton of buzz this season. And I hope for the WNBA that it comes back next year with the same type of intoxicating buzz that it had previously. My fear for the WNBA, and I think it goes back to a point that we talked about a lot, sometimes in an unhealthy way, earlier this year. Players in the WNBA, some of the WNBA legends that have come before these players today will take exception when folks are talking about Caitlin Clark and it's all about her. And she's the only reason that the league has become so popular that it's crossed over. I use the best example ever, man. It was Memorial Day weekend, and Christy and I were going to a party. It was 3 p.m, and I legit made us late because the Fever were playing, I think it was Chicago. No, they're playing New York. The Fever was playing New York in Indiana on CBS, big CBS. And it was a tight game that went into overtime. And there was such a vibe watching that game that I was like, Christy, we can't leave. I have to finish watching this WNBA game. Something that never has ever come out of my mouth, right? Prior to that afternoon. And that is all I look, man, we have to be honest. The crossover is 100% Caitlin Clark. That's why it crossed over. That's why dudes like me were watching that game. And it's not so much specifically about Caitlin Clark. It's about the buzz around her too, right? That brings in the casual fan. It's almost like oh, wait, am I going to be missing something if I miss this, right? And then as evidenced in the games themselves when she was healthy, and these arenas, right? Even the Sophie Cunningham incident where she threw Marina Mabrey to the ground after Mabrey fouled Caitlin Clark hard, like that was in front of a packed house. And I think that game was at the Mohegan Sun. It wasn't the one they played in Boston. But like, and if you watch any of the one outlier is the San Francisco Valkyries. Like they're just like unbelievable, or Golden State Valkyries, whatever they are. They're like, people are stoked. It's San Francisco. You know, people are all about it there, the WNBA, and they're selling out all the time. And it's kind of neat too. It's also neat to watch our buddy Matt Lively, who was on Channel 6 here in Waco for a long time. Not long, 3-4 years. Guy's a total star. He's now in San Francisco, and he's like the sideline reporter for these games because they do a great job putting Valkyries games on, I think, local television there for the most part. And he's the sideline guy for those games. And I see his stuff online, and it seems like they're just crushing it. And then you look at the numbers they are. When I had a meeting earlier this year at the NBA offices, and they talked about the WNBA and the NBA, and the Valkyries, their season ticket holder numbers would be like in the middle of the NBA. Like they're crushing it. But that's an exception to the rule. More often than not, we're seeing this great success around, or we saw that crossover earlier this year because of Caitlin Clark. She got hurt. There's zero interest in the league right now as we head towards the playoffs. That's got to be a scary reality for the WNBA, and also a scary reality for all the folks who were like, it's not all about her. It's about all of us. I don't know that it is. I always say Angel Reese is a star. And I think people are so quick to give her shit. And again, I was talking about her numbers last week. I mean, she's a walking double-double. I think, although I think the Chicago Sky is like, they don't want her around anymore. Everybody's too sensitive. Like she said what Angel Reese did. She said what 1 million NBA players and NFL players and Major League Baseball players have said before. Get me some help. These guys suck. You know, like Magic Johnson, he got Paul Westhead fired like in the middle of the year. Jason Kidd, notorious coach killer. You know, it happens, dude. It happens. Michael, right? Okay, Doug Collins isn't working here. Phil Jackson. I mean, the best of the best of the best have made those types of statements. So let's all settle down, finding another reason not to like Angel Reese. But I was kind of bummed when she got hurt, and then I noticed that if I'm an example, I like women's basketball. I pull for it, right? And I'm quick to, when something interesting is going on with the sport, to really just snatch it, right, and hang right on. But I'm not like that right now, and I think that's because it's not that interesting to me, and in a sea of so much going on right now. So I'll be interested to see. Next year we could be wrapped up again in it, and maybe it's seasonal. Maybe it's the season hits summertime, and then we start talking about NFL training camps. I don't know. I think it's going to be a pretty interesting experiment because the WNBA has never been rocking like it was this year. Outside of when I was in college, the We Got Next, that was like a huge deal. But then it kind of, it was one of those deals. Like opening night was huge, but after that, it was like, all right. I remember I was living in New York when Teresa Witherspoon hit the half-court shot against the Houston Comets. Now, New York lost, but she literally hit a half-court shot to extend their hopes in the championship series that year, which was pretty awesome. All right, I'm talking about Teresa Witherspoon hitting half-court shots, so it is time to go. The Pete Sousa Show will be back tomorrow. We have Dan Ingham and somebody else. And we're jam-packed the rest of the week, man. So you got to keep watching. Thank you so much to Sal Paolantonio taking time with us today. Make sure you go online, like and subscribe. And all the videos are up. All the content is up. And we're going to put that Sal Paolantonio interview up a little later. We'll cut some segments out of that. yeah, I haven't told you guys much about this weekend. I have a game at Rice. It's Prairie View and Rice. And I'm interested because it's my game and it's college football. I don't expect you to be, but I may be talking about that here and there a little bit. Not so much that you'll stop watching, I promise. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. See you.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level when we shut down to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.